Why are Christians such killjoys? Well, this is another one of those stereotypes that I think is profoundly unfair and untrue. It is certainly true that there are Christians who are unwilling to participate in certain behaviors that unbelievers find perfectly okay, and who may even be willing and eager to denounce said behaviors as being inappropriate and wrong. And I'll even concede, for the sake of argument, that it's possible they're wrong. But it's not possible that their motive is to take away the joy that someone might otherwise have in committing what the Christian perceives to be sin. That is, what motivates the Christian is compassion. Can you imagine having someone that you care about who wants to engage in some sort of behavior that is destructive to them and or others, and you come to them and say, I really think you shouldn't do this? Would you want to be called a killjoy? Would you see yourself as a killjoy? Or would you recognize, well, I'm actually trying to help? Now, again, you could be wrong. Right now, we're in the middle of a nationwide mass debate about vaccines and about masks. And there are people on both sides of both of those issues and what should be done. But, I don't think there's anybody out there saying, well, I really think we ought to do X, and I really think you ought to do X because I think that will create more misery and death. It's important for us, when we disagree, to not ascribe to those with whom we disagree the worst possible motives. So again, unbelieving friend, when your Christian friend says to you, I really don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's something you should be doing. I think you'll regret doing this. Don't look at them as a killjoy, any more than you would look at your doctor who says, this diet of Cheetos and Ding Dongs and Jolt soda is not doing your body any favors, and if you keep it up, you're probably going to end up dying young. They're not being a killjoy. They're not saying you're not allowed to enjoy tasty foods or that you should never have any caffeine or anything like that. They're just trying to help and give some good counsel. Now, it's possible, obviously, for Christians to add to God's law things like, it's a sin to play cards, or it's a sin to go dancing, or something like that. Christians have been prone to that from time to time, but the problem there, again, is not a desire to kill joy or to take away pleasure from anyone. Rather, the desire, again, is to protect. Typically, this happens when we do what's called fencing the law. God says, don't do X, don't touch X. And so to make sure we don't touch X, we put a fence around X and say, don't touch the fence either. And then maybe to make sure the fence doesn't get touched, we put another fence around that and say, don't touch that fence. Now, Christians can make that kind of mistake. And by the way, so can unbelievers. Let me remind you, in our day, who is more likely to scold the behavior of others? The Christian or the committed, unbelieving leftist? Don't do this. Carbon footprint. Don't do that. You'll make angry Greta angry. Don't do that. You might get someone sick. I've never seen such puritanical moralists in all of my days as these people who, on the one hand, affirm there's no such thing as right and wrong, and on the other hand, insist that we do exactly as they say. There is a law. There is a right and wrong. And there is a call for kindness, to encourage and help one another towards doing the right thing. There's also a call for liberty The trick for all of us is finding the balance.